move here. Gavel us in here. All right, I'll call our planning board meeting to order. I'm Robert Fry, the chairman of the planning board, and we'll welcome everyone here tonight to our July meeting. And if you'll join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sam has offered to do our invocation this evening. Turn it over to him for that.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, and thank you for the individuals that take the time out of their schedules to be here and serve this town. And thank you for our staff, all those that make this town great, all the way down to every single resident. Be with us as we discuss this topic tonight and help make a recommendation that will produce positivity and good things going forward for our town. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thanks, Sam.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we do have a quorum here, missing a couple of members. It is an unusual meeting, kind of a, I won't say spur of the moment necessarily, but we do have a quorum here tonight, and so we will proceed on. I believe we've had a chance this evening to review the minutes from the June meeting. Is that correct? Any discussion? If not, anyone have motions?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for June meeting.
All right, all in favor? Looks like that is unanimous. All right. And has anyone had a chance to consider the agenda for this evening? We have had that. There's no discussion. We'll look for a motion on that as well.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
All right, all in favor? Raise your hand. All right, that is unanimous. All right, and we'll move on to new business now and turn it over to Mr. Jones.
All right, thank you, Chair. Okay. All right, thank you, Chair, members of the board. We've got a rezoning request tonight. The parcel in question, there's two parcels. They are approximately 0.55 acres located along West Williams Street. And that's what we're seeing on the board here. Currently it's vacant, and access, if when this is developed, would be off West Williams Street. Currently surrounded by residential of various lot sizes in this area. Zoning compatibility, the current zoning is R10. The request is to go to R6. As I said, there's various lot sizes that have naturally occurred, one being right next door that's sort of a little bit smaller than R10. But you are considering R6 tonight, which is a 6,000 square foot lot size. It would allow for single family and multifamily within R6. So it's a little bit smaller than R10. Land use compatibility, we have this area of town designated as high density. R6 would be considered a high density zoning classification. The comprehensive plan for the town identifies an area of infill development. That area is sort of right off the screen here. It's right in this area through here. So we're not very far from that designation of trying to develop lots infill in this core area of town. So,
And is that area also known as Calibit Springs Road?
yes, this would be Calibit Springs, yes.
Okay.
So West Williams turns into Calibit.
Right, okay, I got you. All right.
Further out of town, that's right. So from a land use standpoint, calls for high density. R6 definitely is high density. Would allow for single family, multifamily, if churches and schools in that same vicinity. Future land use plan again has this as high density, which R6 would fall under, while just outside of that identified redevelopment area of the comprehensive plan, high density designation would support the rezoning and facilitate additional infill housing development that will be similar to adjacent housing. Staff's recommendation is to approve. And you have your standards, and I can answer any questions that you all have. And the applicant or representative of the applicant is here to answer any questions that you all have. And that's the presentation.
All right, thank you. Does the applicant want to be heard?
Yeah.
Come on up.
So I'm Chris Schiavone. Nice to meet y'all. Ken Godwin is the applicant. I'm actually business partners with Ken. He unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, so came in to just kind of fill in what we're looking to do here. Not sure you're aware, we did build the duplexes down on Broad Street. Essentially what we're looking to do is something pretty similar on the West William Street project. It's a lift and shift product. We are literally taking those duplexes, and our plan is to basically put them on West William Street over there. Just need to get it to the R6 zoning to accomplish that. So that's essentially what we're doing. Nothing too crazy, but that is the plan as it stands right now for that piece of land on William Street.
Yeah, this came up within the last year. We rezoned a lot there, that Broad Street duplex.
Yeah,
And,
it was last year sometime, last spring. It was 1 or 2 lots, and it was rezoned to the R6 to accommodate
Right.
the duplexes.
And those turned out well. I think we've seen that as to be an improvement in the town. And am I correct? You guys are the same developers,
Yep.
in other words. Okay.
We're Gemstone Homes, so we built them, and yep, we're doing the same thing over there.
Well, yeah, but you guys put those up quick, and I think they look nice. But I do recall a very similar project
Yep,
that I
yeah.
think has been a positive thing.
Okay.
Sometimes rezoning gets criticized, but I think that has been an immediate. Yeah, they look good. I mean,
Yeah,
so-
it does.
Quality, they look really nice.
I agree. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I just didn't know when I first saw them. I didn't know backyard how far it would go out towards. I think the other houses on the other side.
Okay.
So yeah,
For William Street or for Broad Street?
Broad Street.
Oh, okay.
Broad
Yeah,
Street.
no, they're big lots.
Yeah.
I mean, they were big lots, so, make sure everyone's got a nice backyard, and so they're a nice product for
Yeah,
sure.
they're
About
very
300
nice.
Square feet.
Yeah.
So
Good.
that's really it. If you guys have any questions for us, it's kind of simple, so feel free to ask.
I don't have any questions.
Don't.
Anyone else?
Question? No, I don't have any.
It's really nice that we have like a visual. Can we get a visual for everybody that comes before us? Like, can we see that subdivision,
Last
please?
year
Like, can
was-
you
I
bring in
will
your
say, I
Legos
think-
and draw that
I
out
do
for
think
us?
last year was a little difficult because we had the rendering, and I think some people weren't sure how it was going to look. And I know there was a couple, maybe council or maybe town members who weren't too sure about it either. So now that it's there, I hope, like you said, I hope it kind of everyone sees that we're building good products. So,
Oh, yeah. Nice.
When I saw it going up, I was like, how is that?
Yeah.
And I love how it looks.
I know. I agree. It's been a
Yeah.
positive thing.
It
So
has. It really
Yeah.
cleaned that whole area up.
Yes, they did.
It was very round.
And I
Yeah.
think because they look really nice quality,
Yes.
it's attractive and it sets a standard and it sets like, you know, it's a mindset that okay. So yeah, y'all did a really good job.
appreciate
Thanks.
it. Thank you.
Yep.
it's the kind of thing we would like to have that when you drive into town, you see nice looking things, instead of
yeah.
Yep.
other things. So anyway, I'm not
We
gonna-
want to invest in Andrew too. I mean, it helps us too as a builder and developer. That when things look nice, people are going to come down here. So they're going to want to spend more and build more down this way. So because we're out of Fuquay, we're a local builder out of Fuquay. So obviously this is kind of our general vicinity, general area we like to build in. So
Sounds good. Well, thank you.
Cool.
Okay, if there's no other questions for staff or for the applicant, you all have the standards of review that you should go through. And if you at any point have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Any other discussion?
Quick and painless.
All right. If not, we'll run through our standards of review here and be prepared to. Those are on one of the. You've got that on there. It's on one of the pages there. I've got it here on my laptop. And again, we'll run through these and we'll take a vote on each one here. The planning board shall consider and make recommendations to the town of commissioners concerning this proposed zoning district. The following policy guidelines shall be followed by the planning board concerning zoning districts, and no proposed zoning district will receive favorable recommendation unless. And A is that the proposal will place all property similarly situated in the area in the same category or in appropriate complementary categories. In favor of that? All right, that is unanimous. Yes. There's convincing demonstration that all uses permitted under the proposed district classification would be in the general public interest and not merely in the interest of the individual or small group. All in favor of yes? It's unanimous. C is there's convincing demonstration that the character of the neighborhood will not be materially and adversely affected by any use permitted in the proposed change. All in favor of yes? That's also unanimous. And the final one is the proposed change is in accordance with the comprehensive plan and sound planning practices. All in favor of that? That is also unanimous. So we will grant the rezoning request. All right.
All right. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time tonight to hold a meeting outside of our normal time, but I will be on vacation next week, so you all have a little bit more time between this meeting and your next meeting. Don't know if we have a meeting or an item so far for the next time, but there is some plans for some ordinance amendments that may come to you all for some consideration. One being sort of limiting uses and how many types of uses can be within the same area of town or within a distance of each other. We all have seen a number of vape shops and things like that prop up in town, and there's been some requests to study if we can limit where those can be and how many those can be. So that might be an ordinance amendment that comes before you all. There may be some other smaller ordinance amendments that we're going to work on. So we'll have you all take some time to study that and make a recommendation to the town board. For this request, we're done with that one, but I would like to give you an update on last month's agenda item, which was the rezoning down NC 210 towards Lillington. Remember, we all sort of had a positive recommendation, but it was based off of utilities being able to be served. It was for R30 to go into R10. The public hearing was last night. The town board did annex the property, so it is now in the town of Anger, but the town board did not approve for the rezoning. So it's going to stay R30 for the time being. The applicant called me first thing in the morning and is already figuring out what they can do to bring another rezoning request to you. What it'll probably be will be a conditional zoning, so that's a little different than what a general use rezoning. There will be conditions that are associated. There may be a plan. I think the applicant should have heard that access or limiting access to the school road is going to be seen as favorable, and having a turn lane constructed along NC 210 leading into the development is favorable, and limiting the density and maybe less townhomes if not townhomes. So the applicant has some things to work on. So in town we have R30, and then we drop down to R15, R10, and R6. We don't have an R20, which is a little odd. Most places you kind of step down from really an R40 all the way down to an R6 or something. But we don't have a 40, we have a 30, but we don't have a 20 for some reason. So the next step down or step up closer to the R30 than it is now is R15. And I think R15 would still allow for some townhomes to be there. The single family lots would just be bigger. And so less dense and maybe more in keeping with the surrounding area. Or they may come up with some other plan and come up with something different. I don't know. But they know that they're in the town now. They've been annexed, and they have to come to you all and to the town board for recommendation and approval. So they will be working hard to figure that out. Yeah. There was a big, the community came out and spoke.
Yeah, they
a
did.
lot.
Yeah.
So if you weren't able to hear it last night or go back.
You were
to
concerned about
the-
some of the conditions on that too, so.
Yeah.
I think the real issue of that a lot of commissioners were worried about was one entrance in, one entrance out
That's right.
in the school,
In the school.
all the traffic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
They came out last night.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't experienced that yet, but apparently it can be congested, during school hours. So adding more homes and more connections to the school road
Yeah.
would add to that congestion. So we didn't tell them no, they just have to go back and do something different, and they will.
Could be a positive thing now.
It could be.
Yeah,
It could be.
absolutely.
Having a conditional plan and conditions should have been what that came to you all. They were sort of led down other paths before I got here. I would have led them down a different path. So I think we're going to get a better product.
And the 78 homes, and I think was it 40 plus townhouses,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
30 homes. It was like they didn't know that they was going to put townhouses there. So
Yeah.
It is a lot. I mean,
So it'll be better, and they'll
Oh, good.
still be able to be profitable, and it'll just be a different type of neighborhood, which is fine.
well, good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that then.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little update on what you had last month, and that's all I have for tonight.
Well, they really serve as the town board like that in the public. I mean, sometimes we're just looking at sort of the bare bones regulations
Absolutely.
and really the preference of that in many ways, which I think sometimes there is a struggle between something as small as R6 and bigger like R10 or R15 is really for the commissioners to call a lot of times. So it's nice they do that. Maybe they'll bounce something back to us that will fit,
Yeah.
better.
That's right. That's right.
I don't think that's in our realm. I would say, like, I don't like, we don't want our family a little bit too intense what you're trying to do. It's my understanding that we really don't have the power to do that. If it fits the future use plan or it fits within, like it doesn't disrupt things that are already in that area, then we have to say, yes, the zoning makes sense. And the commissioners, it's up to them to say, yeah, but maybe that's not what we want in this area. Is that right?
True.
Or am
I think that's true to a point, but if you see something that's not in keeping with the land use plan, or as in the one last month, our land use plan was not that far out. We all sort of had to think, when it becomes part of Anger, how would Anger treat this parcel along a North Carolina highway elsewhere in town? So we had to sort of envision something that's not true. So I think last month you could have said, we don't know. We don't see what's happening here because
like,
it's not
I think
in
a
our
lot of
land
us
use.
felt unsure last week, but there wasn't any like a diehard reason to say no, really.
I think-
Right, I
And,
agree.
and sometimes there's bias. Like for
Yeah.
those of us that you haven't been down that road, but for people that have had kids there,
Yeah.
it is a nightmare.
Right.
So it's hard to take that. And yes, I think about the overcrowding in schools.
Yeah.
It is insane to me that it is the same middle school that I went to
What grades is there? Is it?
6th through 8th in that middle school and that high school.
Oh yeah.
The only ones that have, for as long as I've been alive.
They've been
I
overcredited
just
for
had-
over many years.
Yeah, so sometimes
And-
it's hard to not be like, no, I don't want to approve this simply because we don't need any more homes in that particular, because that's not our job. But at the
Yeah.
same time,
But
the
I
bias
think
does creep in.
I think you all, in your consideration, can bring up points for the board to consider. So if you're in your discussion of a rezoning, you all may recommend approval, but like the last time, it was, we recommend approval as long as Harnett Regional Water serves this property. You could have said, we are okay with this as long as there's no access to the school road. I mean, you could have said that.
Oh, okay.
So there can be some consideration, or in your deliberation, town board, consider traffic and consider these things. So you can definitely say that. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not too black and white. You're here to recommend, and what you feel, your citizens, and how you think it would impact other people in town. So yeah.
Just to clarify, the school by the property in question is primary age, so it's
Yes.
pre-K through second grade.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Yep.
You know, further down towards the.
It's the property beside
okay.
North Harnett School Road.
It is.
Well, the middle school, you're talking about the middle school is very overcrowded itself, and the high school.
And then
But
it's
yeah,
all
this
the
is,
same road.
I don't know if that one's so overcrowded. It's a great, my kids went to that
As
school.
far as I know, North Harnett's not actually at capacity maybe or overcrowded, but
We split the elementary school
Yeah.
back, it's pretty
but the parents use the road that property might want to have access to one day to line up for
Yeah.
pickup
Right.
and drop off. Sometimes
Right.
they line up all the way out to 210, so it would,
I think that was part of.
it would
Very
definitely
much
be
on
a
last
major
night.
bottleneck.
Yeah.
They're very much on 210. Yeah, I mean, it goes all the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Lining up to pick up kids or to drop off. Yeah.
We're good. Well, it turned out like it's supposed to, I think.
I think in the end it probably did.
I don't know if that's normal for you to provide an update like that, but it's very helpful.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
That you
Yeah.
that you did that.
It just
so.
so happened it was last night, but I will definitely give you updates on things that you have made recommendations on at the next board meeting after the town board makes that decision. All right.
Sounds good.
When it comes back to us, we know kind of what they're thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
All right, any other old business? If not, then we are adjourned.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. All right. I didn't